Hello everyone, I'm Matt Liebel from GCTV, and today we're here with Steve Terreri of the Kare Foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, very much. Appreciate the time.
Pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
So first, start off, tell us about what the Kare Foundation does and its mission.
Sure. It's the Paul Dostie Kare Foundation. We have abbreviated it pdcare.org for our website. Paul Dostie was my brother-in-law, and this past May 25th, he marks 3 years since he passed. And he passed due to glioblastoma, a brain cancer that's the most common brain cancer. And when he died, we, as a family, felt like we needed to keep his legacy alive, because his father started Jerry's Transmission here on Route 1 in Guilford in 1958 or 59, and Paul took the business over, and he was known among the auto mechanic world as a kind of a savant when it comes to transmissions, but also a very, very kind guy, like really, really nice. So we wanted to kind of keep that legacy of kindness moving forward, and we came up with the acronym CARE, K-A-R, kindness always rewards everyone. And so the Kare Foundation was born shortly after Paul passed, and our mission really is to try to help families who are struggling financially due to their disease. And we focus mainly on GBM, because that's what Paul had. And we also focus on another disease called HCM, which is a hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, which is a disease, genetic disease of the heart that his daughter Allie has. In fact, Allie's being evaluated for transplant as we speak. So we look for families that are really struggling. And when we first started, we'd give out, a small grant to help them, and then we decided that the folks that we're talking to are in serious financial difficulties. So we wanted to make a grant that would make a huge difference in their family. So we've switched to a couple years ago to giving a $5,000 grant out every month. So for a long time, we gave at least $5,000 out to a family every month. And this year, Kare Fest was very successful, our best one so far, our third Kare Fest. We're now able to give out 2 grants of $5,000 each to a family struggling financially because of their disease, and that's what we do.
Very good, very great mission statement, good work with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned you give out grants. Is there any other assistance or just the monetary grants that you give out to families in need?
Yeah, really, we're only set up to do that, and so we give a financial grant every month. We also do one other thing where, Paul was known for finding backyard mechanics that were working on their mother's car or fixing lawnmowers or whatever, and turning them into automotive techs. So we do also once a year look for a backyard mechanic that we can give a scholarship to, either to buy tools or to go to a technical school to become a mechanic. And we also include with that the ability to kind of work at Jerry's as a part of their training.
Okay. And all your funds come through fundraising, the festival?
Yeah, our main fundraiser is Kare Fest, which has been happening every mid-June every year for the last 3 years, and it's coming up again in June 14th of 2025, so it'll be 4 years. Yeah, so we have 5 bands, beer from Thimble Island, we have silent auction, raffles and all that kind of thing, and that's our primary fundraiser. And we've been successful every year with that event, and actually every year it gets better in terms of the number of people that attend and the revenue that we generate. We also have a group that outside of the foundation has put together a golf tournament that happens every year in August. We've had 2 so far, and we're going to have a 3rd one next year, and it'll probably be in October instead of August next year. So we get some fundraising there, and we've done some other internet-related social media fundraising as well. But our main fundraiser is the Kare Fest.
Okay. Now let's get into the festival itself a little bit.
Sure.
Where did the initial idea come from?
I think it came from Paul's sister Linda and myself. When Paul was alive, we did a fundraiser at Thimble Island Brewery, and it was tremendously successful. We had 1,000 people there and raised a lot of money. Even Senator Blumenthal showed up, and Matt Hoey was there. Matt Hoey's been a big supporter of the Paul Dostie Care Foundation, and so is Senator Blumenthal. To be honest, he's been involved. So we had such a successful event there. We said, well, let's try to do it again. And so we amped it up, because at that event there was 1 band. In this event we've got 5 traditionally, and Thimble Island has been a tremendous partner. They provide the beer for us to sell at the event, and they've been a partner for. And we've got, I think, roughly 70 corporate sponsors. So we've gone from nothing to like 70 corporate sponsors this past year. Yeah. So we've had tremendous generosity from all the businesses in the area. It amazes me how generous people are.
A lot of people like to open their hearts up. If you find you just have to find a way to get them to open up and to help out.
Yeah.
I like to believe there's a little bit of kindness and good in everybody.
Yeah.
And you found a way to open a lot of people's hearts up in a fun way, and in some fashion to help others in need.
Yeah, I think we have. We've centered on that word kindness, right?
Yeah.
Kindness always rewards everyone, and like I said a second ago, the amount of generosity is tremendous. The reach of folks who knew Paul is also tremendous. The first couple years, it was basically Paul's friends and family getting together to celebrate what he stood for. And now I think as we get bigger and more well known, and we reach for maybe a band that might draw some folks who don't know Paul, we get the chance to educate them about his background and why we are who we are. And every year we're trying our best to pack the Guilford Fairgrounds, and we still have a long way to go to do that, but we're working on it.
Oh, that sounds like you're making good progress
We
on
are.
that goal.
We are.
Now, you went over a bit about what goes on at the fair: musicians, beer, silent auctions, food. What else is available for people attending the Kare Festival?
Well, that's pretty much what it is. It's food and drink and dancing and good music. And this year we had 1 band actually launch an album at the Kare Fest. The Unavailables launched an album, so they were selling albums, and we sell T-shirts and all that kind of thing. But it's really a really great family event. Kids are dancing and beach balls are flying, and it's good fun.
Very good. Now let's talk about this year's festival. How was the turnout?
It was the best we've ever had. We increased our attendance by 30% this past year, which is tremendous. And we increased the donations and revenue from the event by 40%. And a lot of that had to do with all these corporate sponsors we've had. If you go on our website, pauldostiecare.org, you can see all the folks who contributed to our event. And what's really interesting to me is, Paul was Jerry's Transmission was kind of a specialty mechanic shop for fixing automatic transmissions, but it also jumped into the general automotive world. And so there's a lot of competition in the town to have their cars fixed, and virtually every shop in Guilford, not all, but almost all of the shops in Guilford were corporate sponsors to the Paul Dostey Kare Fest, which I think says something.
That's fantastic. Now, let's go back for a second and talk about Paul a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned he was a mechanic and an overall fantastic person. And his kind personality seems to be one of the things that brings people in to just help honor him. Can you discuss Paul a little bit more?
Absolutely, love to talk about Paul. I mean, you could pretty much ask anybody who knew Paul what they thought of him, and they would say he was this tremendous guy, almost kind to a fault. I mean, like in the business world, he would probably give away a little bit more than he should, but a lot of that came back to pay off him. And I'll tell you this one story. Many years ago, a woman came into the shop. I think she was a nursing student or a social work student who just graduated. Her car transmission blew. She brought it into Paul, and he said, "This is how much it's going to cost to fix." It was probably $4,000 or $5,000. She had no money or very little, so she paid. Paul said, "Just give me a little bit, and someday you'll pay me back." 20 years later, Paul is sick. He was at Middlesex Hospital. Basically, we didn't realize it at the time, but he was dying. And they sent him to Yale for some tests, and then he needed to get home because he was dying. And Jeannie, his wife, was in the emergency room, and she was trying to get him in an ambulance to get home, and she couldn't get him in an ambulance. So somebody heard the name Paul Dostey, and this woman says, "I know Paul Dostey," and she happens to be this woman whose transmission he fixed 20 years ago, and she got him into the top of the line, got him in an ambulance. He got home, and 6 hours later he passed away. So I mean, he was kind, and I mean, I think that story tells you a lot about the man. He's a father of 3 girls, a set of twins. Allie and Paige are, I think they're going to be 27 here soon. His daughter, Kristen, is married, and Kristen just recently got her PhD from UConn, and unfortunately Paul wasn't there to see it, but he was there in the room. We could feel him. He would be, crying his eyes out.
I'm sure he's proud from where he's looking down from.
Tremendous, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if did I answer your question?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Got a good idea of what type of person Paul was, how generous and kind of a man he was.
He was a great guy,
yeah.
Hard worker. I mean, the guy worked 80 hours a week. I mean, he was working on transmissions at midnight, and never met a guy that worked harder than Paul Dostey. So he's a good guy.
Now, kind of lastly, do you accept just donations?
Absolutely. If you go on the website pauldosteycare.org or pdcare.org, there's a mechanism there for you to make a donation to the foundation, for sure. We'd love to get any kind of support that you feel you have the ability to give.
Fantastic. Thank you again for speaking with me today.
Thank you for having me. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to next year's festival.
Yeah, it's June 14th, 2025 at the Guilford Fairgrounds. We're going to have some interesting, potentially new acts to talk about.
Oh, great. Remember, mark that date in your calendars, folks.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you.
All right. You have a good night, and thank you again.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.